Hi, Virgo. I'm getting a strong message here for you that there are two energies, people, dynamics that are showing up in your space that Spirit wants to talk to you about. And the first message is one is kind of a wolf in sheep's clothing. So, nothing to be fearful about. I feel like this is more confirmation than anything. Maybe this is something that you're currently working through or you're aware of, or it could be coming up. So, we'll talk about that. And then the second one is that there is a stranger, someone new, coming in or who is already there. And this stranger is not the wolf in sheep's clothing. I said wolves, so maybe there's a couple of them that you're dealing with over there. And it does feel like I'm seeing these as like very separate. The left, I'm getting the word left. And I want to say the direction left is associated with the wolves in sheep's clothing, and the right is associated with the stranger. Now, whenever I say left and right, I always think about creativity versus rationality, the different parts of the brain. So this could be aspects of yourself, but I feel like it's also more than that. It's also an external situation you're dealing with. It feels like the wolves or the wolf is something that maybe intellectually you're grappling with or you understand, or maybe there's something about the air element in your communications. There could be like some interesting words being exchanged. And on the right side with the creative stranger here, it's like Spirit's beckoning you to be curious about what this other has to offer you. Okay, this is a new experience for you. Or someone is sparking an epiphany of some sort within you. I also feel like while these things are separated here, at least that's how Spirit is showing it to me, there's a real opportunity to understand that you are meeting yourself in the middle, meaning that you've integrated something for sure. But it's more, it's like you've come to an understanding about what you will allow and what you will not allow. What drains your battery and what recharges your battery. That was a sign of my battery, a sign, the sound, a sign that the battery has been recharged for you, right? It's like you're able to kind of discern, oh, these are the wolves. And this is something new and exciting and it's unfamiliar to me, but I don't need to be scared about it or of this person or of this situation. Now, on the other hand, the wolves feel very familiar, okay? So they could be part of an old karmic cycle. Or maybe they're people that you know really well or a person that you know really well. So a few things I'm so excited to read for you because as some of you know, I've been working with Hermit energy since we're in the year of 9, 2025 equaling a 9, which is the Hermit card. So I've been tapping into Virgo energy since that's your card consciously, which is a little bit tricky for me because Virgo rules my 12th house. And this is a message for you because I got something about the 12th house coming through. And the 12th house is usually things that we can't see. It can represent the unconscious realm, but it's also the place in which we are most psychically powerful. So once we do shine a light in our 12th house and we begin to unpack or explore the things that we've been avoiding or that we can't see clearly all the time due to our own projections and stuff, once we do shine a light in that area and work with it and deal with those tricky aspects of ourselves or relationships with others, our psychic intuition becomes super powerful in that same kind of realm. So for me, it's Virgo, but for you, it could be something else. Whatever's it rules your 12th house in your birth chart, that's kind of like a blind spot for you or an area that maybe triggers you, Virgo type of things. For me, or for you, it could be, I don't know, it could be Aries, could be Pisces, could be any sign, right? So whatever it is, or maybe those are the aspects that like getting caught up in details can be an issue for me. But then it's also the details that is where I feel I'm also psychically powerful, is picking up on small details. So there's something there for you to think about your 12th house. Look at the sign, think about it. How can you access the archetype of that sign, like what it stands for, in a way that serves you psychically. And then also maybe think about how that sign represents a part of your shadow. Okay. I'm hearing Leo. Maybe for some of you it's Leo, or this could even give you insight into someone else's shadow by looking at their 12th house, and as well as their powers, their psychic powers. So, working with Virgo energy, I wanted to read a little bit about Virgo here before I started your reading, and I came across, I'll just read this small passage because it's 100% a message for you, because this relates to the wolf in sheep's clothing. So I'll just read this and then we'll talk about it. It says, a Greek legend links Virgo to Astrea, the goddess of truth and virtue, who lived with the other immortals among human beings on earth. However, when Pandora opened the box and released all manner of nasties into the world, the earth became unbearable. Astrea stayed for as long as she could bear it, although she eventually left the earth, the last of the deities to do so, her finer sensibilities offended by the behavior of humans. It is said that Astrea will return to Earth when humankind is ready for her. And this message here is so important and powerful for you because it feels like you were dealing with a situation in which somebody or a group of people, or there's just energies around in which nastiness has been unleashed. Okay? Somebody's opened the proverbial Pandora's box in some way or another. Maybe their shadow self has come to the surface, okay, for you to deal with or to see. And rather than staying and dealing with it and working through the muck and getting bogged down in somebody else's problem, because it is somebody else's problem, what they're doing, saying, whatever, not your own. Astrea here, the goddess of truth, decides to leave the earth. That's it. I've had enough. This is offending my sensibilities. I cannot deal with this anymore. I should not. It's not I cannot, it's I should not deal with this anymore. So there's a strong message here about making a boundary, drawing a line. Okay? And I got some quotes. Some of them, I don't know if this is verbatim from Carl Jung or if it's inspired, but this is what came through. I don't know if it's verbatim, but I got, the game ends when one player refuses to move. And then the rational mind seeks proof, but the unconscious knows before it can explain. So with the first quote, the game ends when one player refuses to move, it feels like you're not playing the game anymore. Somebody or a group of people are waiting for you to make the next move on the chessboard, and you're like, I'm just done. I'm just done with it. That's it. I'm leaving Earth. You can deal with your nastiness and the nasties you've unleashed, and I'm going to the higher realms, which could be metaphorically my higher conscious mind, my light aspect. I'm focusing on other things that are more important to me. I'm not going to be down here dealing with that stuff. And I'm getting a line from a card from this deck. I think it's Eyes of the Eagle, the card. And the line is something about you're not staying to be amongst the pigeons or something. So pigeons, and it could be a significant animal for you. The wolves, the pigeons. Okay. Which pigeons are messengers, okay? And so these wolves in sheep's clothing have a message for you, did have a message for you, and I feel like you've integrated that message, or you've understood their message, you got the message of what that's all about. And now it's time to draw the line, stop playing the game, leave the earth, and whatever it is that they're doing. And this isn't you avoiding. Okay, this is you making a clear demarcation, a clear boundary, and you don't need to make a statement with it. You don't need to justify it. You just need to follow that intuition that enough is enough. And then the rational mind seeks proof, but the unconscious knows before it can explain. Here, it's like, I feel as though Spirit is coming through and saying, You may be trying to like really chart, like, okay, well, why should I draw a boundary? And like, am I overreacting? Or like, I don't know what you're doing. You're trying to make sense of something, intellectualize it, right? And you're using your rational mind, that left, right? That left side, to get proof of why you should cut these wolves off, or why you should just, say no to the pigeons. But Spirit is saying your unconscious aspect knows intuitively that there's something off. You've seen enough. That's it. Okay. And this is maybe a strange aspect to you, to not figure it all out, which is a Virgo trait, right? And to just trust what your unconscious is saying. Trust what your intuition is telling you. Okay, you can come back in time, maybe a couple months from now, weeks, hours, I don't know, years, and review it if you like, but it's important that you go with your gut on this. And there could be even a literal stranger, an actual other human being, or maybe it's a guide, I don't know. This person looks kind of otherworldly. And see how they're reflecting in this water. And this other energy, this strange new energy, is encouraging you to draw a line between you and another, to understand what's part of you, your reflection, what belongs to you, and what belongs to someone else and is not part of you. Okay, and then some other things came through, and I'll tell you about these, and then we'll get the tarot out. So I got the number 4. And then I got the word incalculable. And when I went to hear it, because I was having trouble pronouncing it, as you could have just noticed. So I went to go listen to it, which is odd because it's a pretty average word. And when I typed it in to hear it, it came through in French. And I have no idea, my VPN is not in France. So I don't know why it came through in French. But it was incalculable or something, however you say it in French. I was like, that's odd. So maybe there's something about another language, French, France, or maybe you can't calculate something. You can't compute something. You can't understand something. It's like another language. And then I realized it's 5 syllables, the word. So there's something about that. But when I was writing syllables down, I put syllabus. So there could be a course you're taking, or you're learning something new, or this is Spirit's syllabus for you, Spirit's course outline, like here are the things that are coming up for you. Or if you were to create a syllabus for yourself, this is the teacher in me coming through, but if you were to create a syllabus for yourself, what would the modules be? What would you want to learn from Spirit? This could be an interesting activity to do. It's a little nerdy, I know. Okay, and then the letters L and K. So let's get into your cards and see what else Spirit wants to say to you. Okay, we're settled? Yes. So tell me about the energies that are supporting Virgo. The energies supporting Virgo, Spirit. Oh, we have 3. Ladybug. One of my favorite spirit animals. And some of you might remember this depending on how long you've been here. And if you're new, hi, welcome. And welcome back for those of you who've been here. But I do have a ladybug mug that I often shows up on the channel. And I've counted, it looks like little tableaus, like little scenes. And each scene, it gets one more dot on its back. And I've counted them before, and it's 9 dots, 9 tableaus, number 9, Virgo, Hermit card. So pay attention to the number 9, but it feels like maybe this is a 9-year cycle that you're closing, or it could be even longer than that. I'm also hearing 90, maybe something about the age 90 is significant. Okay, and then we have a lemur. I'll put the names of the decks in the description box below. They're so beautiful. And a leopard. Lemurs to me seem very playful, but this lemur seems a little bit nervous and scared. I actually feel like this might be someone else's energy showing up. And I feel like this is you, the leopard. And this is the energy between the two of these energies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ladybugs, which is the Lover's card, a contract, a karmic contract, or a decision needs to be made about the relationship between the lemur and the leopard. And the leopard also has spots, right? Yeah, there's some, when we say a wolf in sheep's clothing, it kind of sounds a little bit scary because wolves can be scary, but a lemur isn't too scary. So maybe you need to address some fear around somebody or a group of people, or recognize the power dynamic insofar as you hold the power over how this affects you, whatever this is. And I don't feel like this message would be for all Virgos that I'm reading for, because it feels like very situational. So maybe you want to come back to this if you don't know what I'm talking about. Or you could watch another part of your chart, another sign. That might have more information for you. Your moon sign, your Venus sign, North Node. Okay, so there's some activity here, like a fluttering around. Okay, this is in your support. So this is telling me you're aware of this dynamic. You're aware that there's a dynamic between you and another. There could be like a distance here, or there's things in between the two of you. Or groups of people that could be involved as well, or connected. Let's get one of these shadow cards to see what you're aware of when it comes to the shadow element here. What is Virgo already aware of? Inner coach, you got this. And then on the back it says, be better, inner critic. So this is what I saw first. So it feels like these wolves, or this wolf, was very critical of you, and you could have internalized a little bit of that criticism, maybe being hard on yourself, okay? Or they're used to being criticized. They could have, I don't know, something strange is going on in that dynamic. And it feels like you've already resolved this part of yourself. Like you're no longer harsh on yourself in that way, or you won't be soon, because your inner coach is showing up instead, encouraging you to sever some kind of tie or make a boundary here and not let other people's criticisms affect you, or not let your own inner critic kind of override the aspect of you that encourages you and asks you to be brave and go a step forward and explore something new with this stranger. I also feel like you're a mentor, okay? You're a coach. This could be literally, or like a therapist, or like some kind of coach for real, or a healer, a guider in some aspect, or just a really good friend, But people come to you for advice, and you could be, really encouraging this. You got this. You got this. Like, look, this lemur's scared, and you're telling them, you got it. Don't worry. You can get over this. You can fix this. Whatever it is. But I'm not sure this person is there yet, okay? And there's nothing you can really do. They have to do it themselves. So there's a lot of awareness, which is your supportive energy. Awareness of what's yours, like what's your stuff you need to work through, and what is someone else's stuff. Okay, so let's see the challenge. The challenge for Virgos. We have 3 as well. Okay, we have dog, deer, and hedgehog. There's something about loyalty coming through right away. And even this color, the yellow. Oh, I did get a message about saffron, or turmeric, or eating something yellow, incorporating yellow spice, or like squash, or some kind of yellow food. Could be something important for some of you. Okay, there's a question of loyalty. You're very loyal here. But like Astrea, the goddess of truth, you have to know when your boundaries have been crossed and when something is offending you, offending your sensibilities, not because you're too sensitive, but because well, you are sensitive, but it's not a bad thing, okay? So this could be something else. Someone saying you're too sensitive. No, they're not sensitive enough, okay? Put it back to them. If you're too sensitive, it means they're not sensitive enough, okay? But you need to, again, I know I'm repeating a little bit, but it seems like a strong message that wants to come through about giving yourself permission to say, it was okay, the boundary I made, the line I drew, or if you haven't yet, it's okay that I do that. You're offended by someone's behavior. And I feel like this is your wisdom and your intelligence telling you, this is not okay, this offends me. So listen to that. You know, sometimes when we get offended and we go into this whole psychological shadow work realm, we try to have to figure out, like, well, why am I offended? And like, maybe I'm projecting, blah, blah, blah. You know, this time, no. 2112 mirrored numbers. See, it's about that mirror. It's about looking at yourself, and you've done that, right? So now that you've done that, you can discern, hey, this isn't about me anymore. This is about them. And it's not my responsibility to take that on and try to fix it, solve it, or take their mess and then try to figure out how, like, I need to tidy up, because it's not your problem, okay? Deer, dog, and hedgehog. This is also you, like, you're a leopard for sure. Don't get me wrong. You're fierce. But you're also this cute little hedgehog, this cute little deer, and this dog. You know, there's something soft about you. Vulnerable in many ways too, playful. And maybe someone just couldn't play nice here. And I also feel like this stranger is a loyal stranger. Maybe some of you are going to meet a new animal friend, okay? A stray. Didn't I say that before? Strayed was the slip? Yeah, maybe a stray animal, stray dog, stray cat, stray hedgehog, I don't know, is going to come into your life. The challenge is to embrace a new kind of dynamic, okay? And in this dynamic, well, what do I say there? Integration of feelings, which is the King of Pentacles, or no, King of Cups, sorry. In this new dynamic, you're allowed to be vulnerable. Okay, so let me see the shadow element that's challenging you. We have shame. And it did come out in reverse. See that little word there? I love these shadow cards because, I don't know, some of them are like, look how small the word is here. And this one says embarrassed. It's like sometimes it's hard to know what's in the shadow. It's so little, but it still speaks to us. Some shame around vulnerability. Maybe one time when you were vulnerable, someone shamed you or something so-called shameful happened. What do you need to hear? Hold on. Spirit, what does Virgo need to hear right now? What does Virgo need to hear? Jeweled web, connectivity. Number 32. I still haven't pulled out the tarot. I'm going to do that, but I want to take my time here. Connectivity, no separation, the feeling state. Maybe your sense of vulnerability is linked, you know, like unconsciously, in some ways, not always, but in some ways with this feeling of shame. It says approaching any oracle requires you to come in with certain expectations. You're either looking for confirmation of what you already know, or attempting to shed light on what eludes you about the obvious path you're on. You're asking whether you'll reach a desired goal of some kind. You're rarely able to see beyond memory or projection. And so naturally, everyone comes to the oracle with a narrow perception of what's possible. Imagine that the answer to your question is not about landing at a particular destination, meeting a goal, connecting to a special lover, reaching an endgame, or experiencing anything specific. Instead, you discover a shimmering web of jewels you didn't know existed. And I feel like that's what this reading kind of is. You know, we're just kind of talking about things. And, you know, so obviously when we come to a tarot reading, we want to know about something, something specific. The titles, you know, usually give us a little hint. Or we're looking for future predictions or something. But oftentimes Spirit just wants to lay out like a web of jewels for you to look at, for you to pick up on and think about. And then you get to decide what you want to do with it, not the reader, right? The reader doesn't get to tell you your future. You do. You tell yourself based on whatever you connect with or whatever you don't. So many people write and go, I want to know about this, you know? Well, yeah, we do though. That's fair. But there's something here Spirit's asking you to just kind of step back from and evaluate and see what appears for you. And this is part of this stranger curiosity energy. Like, be curious about what you're picking up on and what you're saying. I'm hearing what you're saying. Be curious about what you're saying. Interesting. It isn't possible to know how any of it works, but know this: what is in your highest good is a sparkling jewel that lights up for you among the web of possibilities. You just need to know how you want to feel and choose this consciously. Take your focus off getting anywhere. Practice feeling and being in a place where your desired experience has already come to pass. Who will you be when this is true for you? Can you be that now? Feel that now? Practice that. The better you know your path within this web of life, the more it will light up for you. It is celebrating you already. And this relates back to that quote here about your unconscious knows before your rational mind does. You already feel something. A connection maybe to a stranger even. You feel something coming in for you, something new. And you can't really identify it, pinpoint it, or get an answer from a tarot reader about what that is. But maybe that's not the point. The point is just to feel into it, and then the next jewel lights up, and then the next one. You know, sometimes we try to see 10 steps ahead when we're not even willing to make the first step. Okay. There's also a situation that it's just coming now where you might encounter a stranger who tries to shame you. This happened recently to me, actually, over the weekend. It was like at a store, and anyways, the person working there was ridiculous. But they really got under my skin. Oh, man. And what got under my skin, and I'm sharing this with you because it's part of your message, is they were very condescending, and I could tell that for no reason, like literally no reason. I don't know what was going on with them. And I knew that in the moment, that it was not about me. But they had made a certain judgment about me. Like, I don't know, maybe it was my age, or maybe it was my height, or I don't know, maybe it was my politeness. But they definitely underestimated my shadow. Okay, they did. And it bothered me. This is a message for you for sure. Maybe it bothers you that people underestimate what you're really capable of, what your shadow can actually do. Right, because you're showing up as this cute little hedgehog and the deer, and maybe that's not what you want to show up as. You know, it's important that people could be important to you, that people know your strength. And so Astria leaving Earth might feel like, maybe I should stay and tell Pandora, like, you know, talk about Pandora's box and how bad it is that all these nastiness have been released, and get justice for it and really make my voice heard. because you want that strength in you, that shadow, strong aspect of you to like maybe put someone in their place or to respond to someone who's treated you poorly. But what? Four of Feelings, which is the Four of Cups, but this isn't going to really do the trick for you. It's not really going to be the answer. You're only entangling yourself with someone else's shadow, I'm getting, or someone else's projection or someone else's issues. Oh, look at the little hedgehog being offered. It's so cute. And it's like you're being like, no, I'm not going to be vulnerable. I'm not going to be this cute little hedgehog vulnerable. I got a cactus here. I got, I can hurt someone, but so can the porcupine, hedgehog, porcupine, whatever, the quills, So maybe you need to recognize that your vulnerability, your softness, your cuteness, all of that, however you see yourself in that frame, is pretty powerful. It's a strength. Oftentimes when people treat us in an off-putting way and it's totally undeserved, they're seeking a reaction. They want their shadow to be validated by your reaction to them. They want to feel powerful, and a reaction makes them feel that way. But when you draw the line, make a boundary, cut them off, don't respond, or just keep showing up as the hedgehog, the cute little hedgehog, the deer, the dog, the playful, it can really cause them to cease and desist. And I don't know why I'm using that language. Maybe that's important for someone. Or have to look at themselves. They only can see, you don't give them anything to distract themselves with. Perhaps that man who was so rude to me, because I didn't really respond all that much, I kind of just smiled because I was kind of, I didn't really, it threw me off. But perhaps that caused some reflection, but who knows? It's not my job, and I shouldn't care what happened after. And this is a message for you too. Okay. Wow. We're 30 minutes in. I'm going to get the tarot out. I'm going to get all the cards out. I'm going to look at the message for you and see what Spirit wants to say here. But I feel like a lot has already come through. Oh, that's so beautiful. There's the lemur with the Two of Swords. See, look, blocking the lemur. Like, Spirit is confirming right here with this image. Blocking this lemur dudette, whoever. Nope. And that's showing up in your challenge, so it's not easy. Oh, beautiful. So I'll just tell you right now, we have experience of Spirit at the bottom, which is the Knight of Wands. I feel like you're going to take quick action with something now. Okay? I don't feel like something's going to bother you or burden you too long. I also feel like this could be the stranger coming in. And underneath that, we have the Magician. And this stranger does look like a magician here with the Star card. This stranger is going to reinvigorate your hope, maybe in humanity or maybe in connection, in relationship. Curiosity of feelings. So we have the Page of Cups here for your overall energy. Look how sweet you are. You really are. I'm looking at this penguin, and I know penguins are loyal animals. They're pretty monogamous too, I think. They have their roles in the relationship and they commit to them. Okay, so I feel, and like you're building little sandcastles with this penguin. I'm sorry, Virgo. It's so cute. Because you're so soft. but strong, goddess of truth, no matter what your gender is, Astria. So yeah, I feel like you're understanding how some of your softer, sweeter, vulnerable aspects are really parts of your strength, and that you should remain loyal and committed to those parts of yourself, and that it's okay to dream and build your dreams and envision worlds and futures and timelines that haven't quite unfolded yet, because what you don't see coming is the 9 of feelings, the 9 of cups. This is wish fulfillment, but first you have to put those wishes out there. Look at that. You're opening your heart, I feel, to something new. You want something new to happen in your life, a new feeling, a new connection, just a new path of some sort. And I feel like Spirit is saying you're embracing this. But part of the embracing of this wish fulfillment is being able to walk away from something else. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, actually. Your opportunity is the 7 of Cups. See how her head is covered here? And then we see this beautiful big buffalo. There's a message here about your resilience, and also how do I say this? The opportunity is to move forward without bogging yourself down in the brain and the rationalizations and the intellectualizations. See how the head is covered, but also this buffalo's eyes are covered. Or is it a bison? I don't know. It's cute. It's all cute to me. Yeah. Their eyes are covered. So it's not about seeing the facts, seeing the evidence, seeing through someone, seeing who they really are, or understanding it with your mind. It's about just feeling it. That's why it's the 7 of feelings. Feeling, what needs to happen next. And the 7 of Cups is a card about many options. It could also be a card about many illusions. And so the opportunity here for you is to suss out the difference between the opportunities and the illusions. Because the pack of wolves hiding in sheep's clothing, that's an illusion. That's all like illusion type stuff that they're working with. Shadows. Whereas the stranger is offering you the opportunity, the connectivity. What do you want to happen next for you? 7 of somatics. Well, you want something to grow and what you've been working on to actually flourish, to show up as you expected it to. And what you've put time and effort into. And I feel like with these double 7s here, 7 of feelings, 7 of somatics, which is the 7 of pentacles, Spirit is saying that it is going to grow and something is going to happen on the path that you're walking on, but it requires the introduction of a new way of looking at something, or a new thought, or employing the new in some way. 3 of feelings, 3 of pentacles. And this stranger, or maybe it's a group of people, can help you achieve that. And for some of you, you might not usually look to others to help you achieve. You're quite a private person, which is good in many regards. But it feels like this strange new relation you have is one that will help build with you. Okay, the challenge, 2 of swords. The blocking of the lemur. I mean, it's obvious here to me. You might be seeing feathers. That could be a sign or synchronicity for you. Now, this 2 of swords is about coming to a decision from a place of peace and intuition. And taking your time in making that decision. But I feel like you're ready to make a decision here. And it's the blocking card as well because of this. Not in terms of symbolically with the tarot, but just like, obviously, there's a big X here in the card, right? So we can read it as a blocking sign. Okay, so maybe you're grappling with, what does this really mean if I block someone? Or maybe I need to sit with the decision, or I need to make a head over heart choice or something like that. But I feel like Spirit's just saying, it ain't worth it. It might not be easy, but I feel like once you detach from their problems, it becomes easier. Now, the advice is judgment, release of judgment, it says. You don't have to, you can, if you want, judge the pack of wolves in sheep's clothing. You can judge them all you want, but it's not the judgment that matters here. It's just doing what's right for you. It doesn't need to really make sense, in other words. Okay? I'm getting this, so I'll say it. Some people get reactive when guidance comes through that you should cut someone off, block them. And usually that's because they've been abandoned in that way. And maybe it was not just when that happened to them, like it was a wound, it hurt, or maybe it was just, but it's still a wound and it hurts, right? Or that could have happened to you and you don't want to do that to someone else, this kind of thing. But here Spirit is saying you're allowed to make a boundary and you don't need to justify it and you don't need to make a statement about it. You don't need to explain. You're allowed to make a boundary to protect your sanity, I'm getting, and your safety and your future. You're allowed to do that. Doesn't matter what other people think. Okay? Because whoever I'm connecting with today, you're not doing it to punish anyone. Now, that's when people shouldn't do that, when they're reactive and punishing or they're running away from something and rather than dealing with a situation. That's when blocking and making those boundaries is kind of shadowy. Well, it is a shadow reaction. Yours isn't. Okay, so it's important that you know that. So release judging yourself, because he's looking in the sand here, in the water again, judging himself. Know your power. Okay, what's going to manifest in the next 3 months, Virgo? 10 of Pentacles, your card. You get to be the 10 of Pentacles card in the tarot. Amazing. Now, you're a mutable earth sign, right? So you have all these pentacles, all this success, all these ideas, all these different projects going on, but they're mutable, right? They're not fixed. You can change things up. You can shift things around. You can make changes. And that's part of your strength, you know, because oftentimes the 10 of Pentacles is read as stability, which it can be, but it's your card, you're mutable. And just because you shift and change things around doesn't mean you're destabilizing anything. It's just your way of finding stability. And I do see you sharing that here with someone. A group of people, your family, okay, whatever you decide to be your family, whether it's a chosen family, your partner, your children, your parents, your siblings, whatever, your friends, whatever you consider to be family, soul tribe, it's there with you, and it is changing. Okay, new members are coming in, or new energies are coming in to this. So in the next 3 months, I feel like you're going to feel at ease with your choices and decisions. And you're going to see that things can shift and change in a way that suits you. Just because there's also something that you've decided to do, and maybe you want to like change it or walk back on it or try and something else instead, but you don't want to be flighty with it, or maybe you're being harsh on yourself about wanting to change things. Don't be. It's part of who you are. It's your strength. It's your truth. All right, I'm going to go into an extended reading. In the extended, we go a layer deeper into this message. We'll see what else comes through. Link is in the description box below. I love you so much, Virgo. I'll see you next time.